Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani, and it is just you and I this morning. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. Man, what a powerful weekend it was. We had our last chance weekend. Couples driving and flying in from around the country to experience transformation. Man, every group is uniquely different. This was a special one. Every group is special. Don't get me wrong. Every group is special. But this particular group is different. Every group has their own personality, their own makeup. And the things that we were able to unpack and explore, and the way that they came and the way that they left, man, I tell you, it was amazing. Listen, today we're starting a new topic. We're talking about why do people keep secrets? That's right. Why do people keep secrets? Oftentimes, it's one of the components of an affair that we need to talk about. But before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let the people know that we are live and direct. We're here. Let them join the community. So jump on in, jump on in, jump on in. We want to know who you are, where you're calling in from, what part of the country you represent so that we can honor you. Listen, before we get started, I just want to share with you one of the testimonies that came from this weekend. Some of you are still trying to figure this thing out. Should we take the plunge? Should we take the step? Should we finally get things in line and on track and do this last chance weekend, which they've been talking about for the last couple of years? Yes, you should. But it's one thing to hear it from me, but it's another thing to hear it from couples who've actually gone through the experience. So let's listen to what this couple has to say, and then we'll dive into today's topic.
Hi, we're Joey and Marilyn Alexander from Chicago. We came to this last chance weekend intensive, and it was definitely our last chance, and God met us here. It was such an amazing experience, life-changing, and we are so grateful that we was able to come and strengthen our marriage, get breakthroughs, overcome our issues, the infidelity, and come back together and have a fresh restart. If you're going through hardships and you really need something intense, this is the thing for you. It's worth the investment if you want to save your marriage, definitely.
Yes, and also with that, I know people are going through counseling. Counseling takes a long time. This intensive is the thing that you want to do to get your marriage on track so that all of the things, everything that you need is all in one weekend, and you get to experience the whole thing. You get to all of the knowledge that you need to get back on track. Things that you might take months and months and months in counseling. We got it all right here in one weekend, and the transformation.
If you trust the process,
trust the process,
and can be transparent and be totally open,
honest,
it will work for you.
Yeah.
No games, no gimmicks. Hassani and Danielle are the real deal. Couples Academy is the real deal.
Yes.
So please,
don't wait.
Save your marriage.
All right. Bye.
It's always good to see these, the way they come in, they look, like they're in such a horrible space, and then they leave like, oh my God, if we only had known, if we only had done. And so, we wish all those couples well. We are glad that many of them are going to be continuing the journey in their recovery process. We talk about the three phases we take couples through, the road to recovery, the path to fulfillment, and then building your kingdom, right? That's when you tap into the power of your partnership. So kudos to those who have done the weekend, and we're excited about those that plan on making that decision. Listen, guys, we're talking about secrecy. Secrecy. Now, we've talked about lies and, why people lie, but one of the cousins of a lie is secrecy. Why do people keep secrets? Well, they keep secrets, particularly when there's an affair, because they do not want to be exposed. You have to understand that when you're engaged in an affair, particularly if it's a longer term type of an affair, it requires a whole lot of work, okay? It requires you being on your P's and Q's, dotting I's, crossing T's. Like, it requires intentionality to keep from being exposed. But eventually what happens in the dark always comes out in the light. Something will expose you, and then boom, cat's out of the bag. It just kind of reminds me of media. If you've been in media long enough, like if you watch television, newscasters, reporters, sometimes their career is spent in front of a mic, in front of a camera, and sometimes you're so used to doing that you forget that the camera and the mic is on. And many people have been caught saying things because the mic was hot. It was live. And so it has ruined careers. It has ruined reputations. It has done all types of things because they weren't aware what was happening at the time because they got lost in what they were doing. Likewise, when it comes to an affair, when you've been doing it, either A, you're careless and reckless in what you do, or maybe initially you're super vigilant, you're very careful, you're meticulous, you do all types of things, you try to remove evidence, but eventually something happens that you forgot about and you are exposed, or circumstances or the other partner somehow will expose you. And so everything that you've attempted to do to hold it, to keep it private and secret, now your world comes falling apart all around you. And so that's when we enter into D-Day. And then D-Day leads to the discovery season, if you will, and you could be trapped in that season for some time. So the thing is, why do we want to keep these secrets? We're going to talk about that today. I mean, some of these are just obvious, but it's worthy of a discussion. Number one, we want to keep doing what we're doing. The reason why I am being clandestine and stealth and secretive is because I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. And so somehow, even though when I first did it, there was caution, there was anxiety, there was fear. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. The more you do it, the more numb you get to it. And the more numb you get to it, then you begin to justify it and think that it's okay and you're not harming anybody and it's nobody else's business but your own. And what you do, what nobody knows about won't hurt them. And so you keep the secret. And so the problem with keeping the secret is you get comfortable, you get slack. And then this is how multiple affairs, and they need to be exposed. They need to come out. I'm not suggesting that stay on your P's and Q's to keep it from happening in terms of being exposed. It needs to be exposed. That's the wake-up call that many of us need. And so that's one of the reasons why we keep the secret. Let's go to the second one here. We don't want input from others that might cause us to reevaluate what we are doing. See, now, a lot of times in the full disclosure process, one of the questions that the betrayed spouse may ask is, well, did anyone else know? Did your friends know? Did your family know? Did your best friend know? Did your coworkers know? And while there are so many circumstances where a tight knit of people do know, there are times when literally nobody knows. Nobody knows. A person who's been involved in a behavior for a considerable amount of time, not a single solitary person knows. Why? Because they don't want anybody getting in the midst of their behavior. They don't want anybody checking or challenging what it is that they do. They want to be stuck. And so what happens is when you don't invite other people into what you're doing and they don't have an opportunity to call you out or call you up, you become the judge and the jury of your own behavior. And that's a problem, because we become so high-minded and think that the way that we're choosing, the decisions that we make are not wrong, shouldn't have any consequence, and we engage in self-deception. You see, when we're talking about secrecy, it's tied to self-deception, but it's also tied to social isolation. I want to separate and isolate myself from everybody because I don't want anybody messing up what it is that I'm doing. I don't want anybody weighing in on or giving an opinion for what I'm doing that I didn't ask them about. And so this is one of the reasons why people keep the secrets. And when you've been doing something long enough, even when it's wrong, you slowly but surely begin to think that it's no big deal and it's right. And so this is why we call this the slippery slope. Like, there's a phenomenal book that I'm reading called Steering Clear. Steering Clear, Avoiding the Slippery Slope to Moral Decline. And one of the reasons why we stay trapped in bad behavior is because of our mindset, our erroneous thinking, our rationalization, our compartmentalization, right? Our bad judgments, ultimately everything that has to do with this. we've made certain internal decisions in our mind that have made it okay to do what we've done. And then we take other steps and actions that cover and protect what it is that we're doing. And the freedom that you're looking for, the transformation that you're looking for, your willingness to change course and go in a direction, the ability to repent that you're looking for first starts here. So we have to break down these mental constructs that make it okay for us to engage in secrecy and to be clandestine and to hold on to and hide certain things that we shouldn't be doing, because that's the very thing that keeps us trapped in the same bad behavior. We're going to go a little bit further, a little bit deeper into this conversation, but first we're going to go and take a quick commercial break. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're talking about secrets. Stay right there. Be right back.
Couples Academy is committed to serving couples around the world by reaching beyond cultural lines and language barriers. We are proud to announce that we now serve the Spanish-speaking community. So whether you're here in the United States or abroad, Couples Academy has a place for you.
Couples Academy se compromete a servir parejas de todo el mundo, superando las fronteras culturales y las barreras del idioma. Ahora, estamos orgullosos de anunciar que servimos a la comunidad de habla hispana. Entonces, ya sea que estés aquí en los Estados Unidos o en el extranjero, Couples Academy está aquí para servirle.
We're really excited about Foundation. It is a new group program where couples are gathering from all around the world twice a week, couples who just want to have a thriving, successful, amazing marriage. No really well-built house is built without a foundation. As a matter of fact, without a foundation, it can't stand. It would just crumble right into the ground. We are going to interview experts and other successful couples so that you can get a glimpse into the lives of other people who are doing what it is that you desire to do, who have and who are accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. And we also have over 500 videos available for you to watch of all of our teaching. Everything that we've ever done, every topic that we've ever covered will be accessible to you.
So guys, if this sounds exciting to you and if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, go ahead and just give it a try. We're literally giving away a 15-day trial for $1. And then after that, it's simply $3 a day. And so, is your marriage worth it? Is your future worth it? Join the community today. Just click that button and meet us on the other side.
Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're talking about secrets. Let me tell you something. When your spouse finds out about your secret the wrong way, it's just more devastating. Oftentimes they find out because someone let the cat out of the bag, whether it was an anonymous person that was reaching out to share some insight that would help them, or whether it was the affair partner who's mad at you, seeking vengeance, and is now going to expose it all, or whether they discovered something through a text chain, an email chain, all types of things. Technology will tell on you. It's just what it is. Sometimes a spouse has this burning, sensation on the inside, something that's gnawing at their heart, something that's tapping on their shoulder saying, listen, look into this, read into this, and your denial has made them feel as if they were crazy. Your denial has them begin questioning their own intuition. Can I even trust myself? What is this gnawing feeling that I begin to have? And then when it comes out, it is just devastating. And so oftentimes we get contacts or reach outs or people asking us, I just cheated on my husband. I cheated on my spouse. I don't know what to do. Should I tell them? And I'm like, well, better you tell than them find out some other way. It will be even more devastating than what it's going to be. But when it comes from you, it will be received better than if it does not come from you. And so the challenging thing is, even when the truth comes out, oftentimes some people have a tendency to deny. They will not acknowledge. They will say that those facts are wrong. It's false news. What you're seeing with your eyes is not what you're really seeing. And that's adding further injury to insult, or insult to injury, right? Insult to injury, because it's just like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that after these phone calls, after these receipts, after these emails, after the evidence that I have, you're still going to deny this thing? And so it really hurts, harms, and hinders a recovery process. And then if you do admit it, sometimes one could still be evasive, one can minimize, one could omit information or details that they think will be damaging, and it begins to be a hard road. But when you come out and you fully expose all, we say this all the time, rather than slowly ripping that Band-Aid off, and you're doing that to avoid the pain, you don't realize that you're causing more pain by the slow tear. It would be better just to quickly rip that thing off, have the initial shock, and deal with the aftermath of the initial shock, just like jumping in a pool. When you jump in that pool, you get cold for a second, your body begins to adjust to the temperature. And so keeping secrets and lying and deceiving and giving a false impression when you're going through this recovery process, because listen, people keep secrets to keep from being exposed, but even when they are exposed, they still hold to the secret. And that's what makes it damaging. And what should have taken a shorter period of time to recover, if you two have decided to go through the recovery process, we've seen many people that have stumbled, mumbled, and fumbled and intentionally compromised and sabotaged a recovery process because when it came time for full disclosure, they intentionally left information out. So they'll go through all the steps, they'll, end the relationship, they'll do all the things that we guide them through, but then they still have secret apps, they still have secret burner phones, they still have secret emails, and they're reaching out, outside of the process, compromising the situation. So one of the reasons why people keep secrets, going back to this point, they're not ready to end it. Now, they weren't ready to end it before it was exposed, but even when it is exposed and they're caught, they don't want to end their marriage, but they also don't want to end the affair. They still want the best of what they consider both worlds. And it's damaging not only to the spouse, it's damaging not only to the affair partner, but it's damaging to you. Everybody's hurt in this process. Everybody's hurt. And so many people are lying and faking and playing games and acting if they're ready, but they're not ready. Because at the end of the day, they have this commitment to a marriage because of the benefits that they get from the marriage, the lifestyle that they have as a result of the marriage, but they want to continue to do harm and to do dirt and to stay connected to the affair partner. How damaging, how damaging. And so you don't realize that at some point the jig is up. Because this is not sustainable. It kind of reminds me of somebody who is a drug dealer, right? they're into criminal activity. They may be in the mob. They may be into racketeering. Whatever it is, they're in something, and there's quick money. There's the fast life. There's the thrill of it all, right? The excitement of being on the edge and breaking laws. But the reality is, even though in the movies it looks exciting, in real life it leads to death, it leads to imprisonment, it leads to broken families. It's just ultimately devastating. And so to do what you know you shouldn't do, to get this high, because oftentimes we're chasing a feeling. We're chasing a high. There's an excitement that we get from it, a thrill that we get from it, something we're seeking that we feel that we don't have in the relationship. And that justifies the lie and the secrecy and the double life. But it does not last. It eventually all comes down to destruction. And that is what will ultimately happen in that relationship. So why continue to remain committed to something you know obviously will not work? But here's the deceit. The deceit is some believe, you know what, I've been getting away with it for this long, why stop now? As long as I'm good and continue to do what I'm doing, he or she will never know. And yes, it is possible that you can be in an affair and your wife or your husband has no clue, but it's so crazy. We just had a couple who came to us. There was an affair that someone had 8 years ago. 8 years ago. They moved into another home because of work or whatever. They had somebody come in to set up their, utilities, and, they got their cable service, and they have a smart home, and, their phones and their tablets are all connected to one system. And something that happened 8 years ago was exposed. All of those emails, all of those text messages, everything comes up just like that. And so what I'm saying to you is, even when you got away with it, you may not really be getting away with it, because what happens in the dark always winds up coming out into the light. And so it would be better if the secret came from you. It would be better if you revealed the truth, if you really want to go through a recovery process. But let's continue to talk about why people keep these secrets. The next one, we mistakenly believe that secrecy from people equals secrecy from God. And you can't hide from God. God sees and knows all. And so oftentimes what we think is, well, I'll just ask for forgiveness. God will forgive me. And God does. That's his plan. That's his desire. He wants to restore. He wants to redeem. He wants you to come back into right relationship with him. But the reality is, if you take on the posture, I'm going to do it anyway, and yeah, I'll just ask for forgiveness and I'll be good. So me and God, he understands my heart. He understands what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to keep it from my spouse. And ultimately, in my warped mind, I think I'm really keeping it from God, which is ridiculous. But if you have that mindset, think about how damaging that is. That's saying, I know what I'm doing and I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm just going to check a box, ask for forgiveness, and I'll be good. Because sometimes or somehow we have some false idea, understanding, and interpretation of who God is. But let's just say God is merciful, which he is, and he does forgive. Somehow we equate forgiveness to having no consequences. And though God forgives, there are always going to be natural consequences for what it is that we do, because it's built into the law in the system that establishes this earth. There's sowing and reaping. There's cause and effect. There's actions and reactions. So just because God forgives you of your sin and will cast it into the sea of forgetfulness, and his ultimate desire is for you to restore a relationship with him, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have consequences associated with that bad behavior. We've seen it time and time again. What some of the consequences of an affair? Pregnancy is a consequence of an affair. STD that you get, that you then pass on to your spouse. And that's another way you are exposed. Because what happens is, in the very beginning of our illicit relationship, we're using protection. But the more we're with each other, the less we feel the need to do it because I trust you, you trust me, we're clean, we're safe, doesn't look like anything. And then boom, you wind up with something. You're still engaging in sex with your spouse. And then you pass on an STD to your partner. And oftentimes something's wrong, something's not right. They go to get a checkup and boom, they discover that they have an STD. You're the only person they've ever been with, and that's how they discover it. And you talk about death by 1,000 cuts. That's one of the damaging things that a betrayed spouse suffers from that can have long-term permanent results, okay, or consequences as a result of your actions. These are some of the consequences, right? Broken relationships, a hardcore recovery process, a spouse who decides to leave, your reputation is just destroyed. It gets out to the wrong people and it can affect your career. Like there's so many things that can be done. And even though God forgives you and you may be in right relationship with him, there are all other types of consequences that we have to consider. And if we don't take the time to consider these things, then we don't realize the ultimate harm that we are doing. Listen, I just want to quickly acknowledge all my people in the community who are here this morning. Cali Power Couple, Vinshawn. I think we got Gonzalez in the building, Alan Young, Aubrielle, Lisa, the list goes on and on. Lisa, I appreciate you. She says, I haven't been to any of your sessions, but your lives and your lives and live nuggets had helped my marriage. Well, we appreciate that we can be of assistance in your situation. Sonny says, we keep secrets because sometimes it will break our partner's heart. Well, absolutely. That's exactly why we do it, right? We don't want to hurt our partner, so we keep them from the truth. We also don't want to face the consequences of what may happen if our partner finds out. So we deny them the truth. There's 1,001 reasons why we do it. It just doesn't make it right. Kimberly says, being dishonest digs you into a deep hole and only causes mistrust. That is a fact. People take lies to the grave because they don't want to expose themselves. It's not worth it. That's absolutely true. We have another comment that says, women have become complacent and feel as long as the husband comes home every night, but she's holding pain and disappointment inside. Yeah, I think that complacency can exist in both men and women as well, where they just allow things to happen. They don't confront things. You know, there's a number of reasons why people who even do find out about a betrayal don't address it. Act as if it's not happening because there may be too much to lose by confronting it. And so the fear of loss, fear of abandonment, the breaking up of the family, life as we know it is enough of a reason for people not to want to move forward. George Wells says, so what do you do if they deny how you keep moving? So what do you do if they deny how you keep moving forward? I guess that's two statements. What do you do if they deny it, and how do you move forward? I think that's what you mean. Well, see, and this is the challenge, right? Because if a person does have all the information that's come out and they continue to deny it, sometimes the closure doesn't come to that spouse until I get you to admit what I already know. And that's the difficult part. But what we've discovered is that people react and respond differently. All I know is that a lot of times people are motivated by the fear of loss. So if my marriage is really on the line and I feel like my spouse is going and has left me with no options and telling the truth is the only pathway to the potential restoration of the relationship, then they'll tell. And so I say this all the time. Everyone has a motivation, and we just have to discover what that motivation is. And once we discover what that motivation is and we tap into that motivation, everything begins to change. Listen, guys, this has been a great conversation. You know it's not over. We're just getting started. So much more to roll out. Danielle's going to be joining me in the morning. But listen, hope you have a phenomenal day, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Take care.